wow, here we are again, huh? We're about to get into what I like to consider the choice cuts of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, and it's all about that sweet dungeon dice monster segment that has nothing to do with the actual card game. Remind you of anything? We even have the threat of fire to get you feeling really sentimental. Also, did you know cooked human flesh tastes like pork? I don't know firsthand, but that's what I've heard. And anyway, this is going to be a monumentally shorter, and therefore far less strenuous on me, video than the other two, focused only on chapters 75 to 86. Why only these chapters? Because even adding on one more would take me into that Battle City tournament arc, leading to another 150 that I frankly don't have the energy for right now. Alright, with all that extra information out of the way, I think I should establish I'm going to be rating these chapters out of 10 with a light recap of what's going on, with handy visual aids. Please be warned in advance though that there really isn't a whole lot of opportunity for horny posting in these chapters except maybe Yugi's mom, but I'll discuss the problem with that in just a moment. Chapter 75. I'm actually really happy to be finally talking about this chapter because this one panel of the Pharaoh teasing Yugi with both of his eyes pointing in the wrong direction has been making me laugh for over a decade now. We also have another Yugi's mom moment, and did you know there's, at least to my knowledge, no R34 of her at this moment? I just think that's interesting to think about. Anyway, little Yugi blings it up with a fancy chain, and Grandpa Moto, who supposedly chatted with Yugi's dead grandmother during a short trip as that nasty gelatinous blob soul, brings up his distaste of the new game shop peddling something called DDM. We're also introduced to Ryuji Otogi, probably more commonly known as Duke Devlin,
Dimension the dice!
displaying just how easy it is to get Asian high school pussy if you're good with dice. I can't believe I just read that. Anyway, Joey gambles away his freedom willingly and essentially becomes Ryuji's slave. This chapter is just a 7.8 out of 10 or so, but with that face I can't help but boost it up to the maximum 10 out of 10. 76. Yugi throwing a tantrum over an incredibly well-known trick with stakes that Joey himself agreed to seems pretty petty to me. And we're also getting incredibly close to pet play with Ryuji repeatedly insisting Joey is his dog now, but whatever I guess. After some Monty Hall tier card game shenanigans, Yugi frees Jinochi from Ryuji's orders, and it's revealed DDM means Dungeon Dice Monsters. This is only a 6.2 out of 10. 77. Oh look guys, that final villain, Bakura, the guy with the incredibly evil spirit living inside of him, is back again. Clownman's also an abusive parent to Ryuji and is also extremely hideous, requiring him to wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time. It's such a fucking stupid line and I'm fucking giggling. Grandpa Moto also displays no loyalty to his own game shop by purchasing DDM and insisting Jinochi plays it at his house. Also, I really prefer the way the puzzle is taken in the manga to the anime.
I see that this millennium item now belongs to me.
Even if it means we don't see America Man again, you know, because he died that horrible death that one time until he was brought back in that one Yu-Gi-Oh thing, I'm actually still not sure is canon. Honestly, what genius writer thought Yugi would give up his cool puzzle to some shady-ass fortune teller when the last fortune teller he met was a literal homicidal rapist?
I can't believe I handed him my puzzle.
You ever notice the Dungeon Dice Monster pool looks kinda like the old Frisbee Duel disc? I like to imagine Ryuji was dumpster diving outside of Kaiba Corp HQ and getting really inspired by the design of the trashed old Duel disc. I give this a 6.9 out of 10. 78. I really appreciate the DDM arc being used to show Yugi's progress at game playing by himself, and helping him develop his confidence, despite battling someone who's clearly far more experienced in a game that was publicly released that same day. The Clownman is also, quite literally, living in your walls. 9 out of 10. 79. I see Ted Kaczynski Lizard blowing shit up and I'm a happy guy, until I remember he has cancer now and then I'm a sad guy. Duke also dumped some information about the Millennium Puzzle crowning someone as the king of games, and Solomon Moto looks like an absolute fucking JoJo character, leaving me to wonder how those genetics got thrown out the door in just 2 generations. Ah, but what's this? A steamrolling monster crushing those who have opposed him? It's not perfect, but the opportunity to make a Killdozer joke in the same chapter as a Unabomber one will never be lost on me. 9 out of 10. Chapter 80. Duke of Twin Swords is a nuts monster, by the way, moving 2 spaces per movement crest and being able to boost his attack to overpower anything is nuts shit. This chapter also discusses the crippling flaw in DDM, and that being Zerg rushing is far too strong a strategy, particularly if you only use low-level monsters in your dice pool. If your opponent can't summon anything, it doesn't matter if your own monsters are low-level, does it? The GBA game is actually so easy to exploit with this strat that I've beaten it just by purchasing dirt cheap level 1 monsters and storming the opponent like they're the Bastille. Also, Dark Eye Stalker looks fucking wicked, but it doesn't matter since Strike Ninja just American History X's it. And they also call him Black Ninja in these scanlations I have. It makes you wonder why they would change a descriptive name like that. 8 out of 10, but I'm lowering it for the absolute power creep Strike Ninja has compared to every other fucking monster revealed so far. In the first DDM battle we see, 6 out of 10. 81. I actually kind of like this clown dungeon master. He looks like something I'd use as an insult to someone. And this picture here spawned this funny picture, which is worth at least half a point. And surprise clown living on the walls appearance. I think he actually injects his malice for Grandpa Moto into the puzzle, and that's enough to break it, which is really impressive in my opinion. Oh, and more Yami Bakura backstory teasing, which we'll learn about in a couple of years, I guess. 9.5 out of 10, I actually think this chapter is the highlight of the DDM arc, to be honest. 82. Look how badass Yami Bakura thinks he is, opening a door really loudly. The real badassery though takes place inside, where it's implied he mind raped some store security guards. Honestly, I don't care much about anything in this chapter, except the ring spirit insisting he's turned over a new leaf, which I imagine sounds like that one evil dude from Deus Ex Invisible War insisting that he's not evil.
Why so hostile? I'm not evil.
5 out of 10. 83. Look, man, give the ring spirit a second chance, okay? This is a shonen and we're obligated to let him try at least once to be a bestie. Yugi, unsurprisingly though, is rather skeptical. And this God Orga thing is absolutely fucking nuts. 7 out of 10. Also, side note recorded after the fact, are you going to tell me that Duke, the man who created the game, doesn't recognize every possible position you can dimension a dice in? Are you fucking kidding me? Just for that, I'm knocking 2 points off. 5 out of 10. 84. I like Bakura just straight up telling this clown to rot and die. And Yugi lucks out with 2 attack crest, absolutely demolishing Ryuji. 8 out of 10. Chapter 85. Yugi decides Yami Bakura is his friend now, and Bakura, in an admirable show of said friendship, leaves behind a fragment of his soul in the puzzle to search the labyrinth forever. I also really like Duke's father acting sorry for a second, almost like everything is worked out and it's gonna be fine, just before he straight up tries to strangle Yugi with his necklace, like that one other time that happened. He also disowns Ryuji in case you needed to be even more sure that he's a piece of shit before hiding back in the walls and nailing the puzzle to a table. And I know you're probably sick of me saying that I really like something, but the infinite labyrinth space inside is really horrifying. It looks like one of those field types from Duels of the Roses, which I fuck with. Oh, and there's threats of fire, also like that one thing we've seen before a few times. 9 out of 10. 86. I never liked Yu-Gi-Oh! The Original series making fun of Yugi giving the puzzle a chain instead of a thin piece of string, because how the absolute hell would anybody be ready for anything of this nature happening? It's like Yugi should be thinking, oh shit, maybe putting a chain on this is a bad idea. Sure, it'll prevent somebody from cutting the string and stealing a pendant literally made of gold and presumably worth thousands, but what if by some strange coincidence a dude nails the chain to a wall or a table and tries to burn me alive? How would I deal with this? It's just not the likely thought process for me. Also, side note, while I was looking for a girl to stick on Yugi for this image, I found this gloriously done image that isn't actually transparent. It only has some of the grid available. Fuck whoever made this. Yugi is also still incredibly kind to the clown man, even informing him of the stop, drop, and roll concept instead of just letting him fry. Also, good panel alert with Joey looking through the flaming door. Shit looks really fucking good. Ryuji also gives a "you're a dick" speech to his dad, and his father seems to accept it, which is letting him off way too easy in my opinion. This dude was implied to be emotionally and physically abusive to his son, and we're just gonna let him off with a "dad, you shouldn't be so evil, vengeance is wrong" speech bubble. Really? We literally blew up a teenager who just wanted a spot in his high school fair, but this motherfucker right here gets to go off scot-free, possibly even scoring an insurance payoff since his shop is burning down. Joey also shows a reasonable understanding of simple machines, saving Yugi from a burning building. This is also a really good panel, by the way, and I like ending this here. 9.3 out of 10. Alright, well, I feel a burning building nearly killing a child is a good stopping point for most people, considering any further puts us in the vicinity of the Battle City arc, and there's a lot to unpack there, Sweaty. Especially this gal, whom I want to receive a vision of her stabbing me to death, forcing her to fulfill the prophecy and kill me. But that's another topic for another time. Well, if you stuck around till the end of this much shorter video, thank you. I'm not really around to plug anything here, but I do have a Discord here, mostly full of shitposters, Beans, and Berserk, and Fumo, I guess, if you want to check that out. We do a movie night there every year or so, if that interests you. Otherwise, you can have a good day or night, I guess. It depends on your time zone. I also have a Twitter thing here, but that's mostly just going to be for me to shitpost Helltaker stuff. That's everything, I guess. See ya. Have fun. I also want to throw out that if you're interested at all in Dungeon Dice Monsters, which I was at one point, you can play the game of it on any GBA emulator and in Tabletop Sim. You should probably just keep in mind you can cheese the entire game by Zerg rushing your opponent with level 1 monsters and sealing them in, though. I need to do like a lip-smacking compendium by the end of this because of the all that kind of stuff that's been happening this entire time. I can hear it. I don't know if you can. Now you're going to be hearing it, but I can hear it. Displaying just how easy it is to get... Fuck, I just fucking... fucked it up. Requiring him to wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time. Fuck. Okay, I'm calm. I'm relaxed. I'm feeling it, Tachyon. I really appreciate the DDM arc being used to show. Oh, I didn't see the chapter. Yugi is also still incredibly kind to fuck! Yugi is also still incredibly kind to the. I can't do it, man. Yugi is still incredibly kind to kind to clown man. Kind to clown man. There we go.